Hello and a very warm welcome to our Question Hour show from the Parliament House complex, the show where we bring you important unstart questions that were asked by the members of the upper house during the historic 250th session of the Rajya Sabha and the response given by the government in written format. I'm Kriti Mishra and joining me is my colleague Rajat Kain.
Thank you for watching this edition of Question Hour.
So Rajat, let's commence the Question Hour show. And the first question that we've picked up in this edition of Question Hour for you is from member Shanta Chetri, and this one pertains to the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. And the member has asked the government whether it is aware that malls, cinema halls and luxury hotels sell food items at exorbitant prices above the MRP.
Replying, the government said to protect the interest of consumers, the legal metrology packaged commodities rule 2011 provided that commodities in packaged form cannot be sold at a price higher than the MRP. Under Rule 18, subsection 2 of the said rules, provisions are made to prevent the sale of any pre-packaged commodities at a price higher than the MRP. Section 36 of Legal Metrology Act 2009 provides for penalty provisions in case of violation of provisions of the Act and provisions of the Legal Metrology Packaged Commodities Rule 2011. The state governments are taking action against selling of packaged commodities at price higher than the MRP in various states and union territories, as the enforcement of weights and measures is done by the state governments. However, in the matter of Federation of Hotels and Restaurant Association of India and other in Civil Appeal number 2017-91 of 2017 arising out of the SLP, the Honorable Supreme Court of India, via its judgment dated December 12, 2017, has allowed the appeals of FHRAI and stated that despite the constitutional amendment having been passed, the definition of sale contained both in 1976 Act and now in the Legal Metrology Act 2009 would go to show that composite indivisible agreements for supply of services and food and drinks would not come within the purview of the either enactment, and that this is for the very good reason that the object for both these enactments is something quite different. The object being, as has been pointed out above, to standardize weights and measures for defined goods so that quantities that are supplied and are thus mentioned on the packaged and that the MRPs are mentioned so that there is one uniform price at which such goods are sold. Moving on, next question was asked by member Sanjay Seth from Ministry of External Affairs, and he sought to know number of youth who took part in 54th Know India program and the objective of organizing such programs along with criteria fixed by the government for selection of nomination.
In the response, the government says that 40 participants participated in the Know India program. The Know India program is an important initiative of Government of India which aims to engage and make students and young professionals of Indian diaspora in the age group of 18 to 30 years feel a sense of connect with their motherland and to be motivated and inspired by transformations taking place in India. The program also aims to give them an exposure to India's diverse forms of art, heritage and culture, as well as to India's progress in various fields such as industry, education, science and technology, information and communication technology. The selection of participants is based on following eligibility criteria. Now these include age from 18 to 30 years, previous participation, the application should not have earlier visited India through any of the government funded schemes, educational qualification, minimum graduation from a recognized university, institute enrolled for graduation. Language, the applicants should be able to speak in English. An amount of 6 crore rupees was allocated under Know India program for the current financial year, which is the 2019-20 financial year, and an amount of 1.10 crore has been expended so far. Let's move on to the next question that has been asked by member Ram Shakal, and this one is to the Ministry of Heavy Industries and Public Enterprises. And the member has asked the government whether several posts in central public enterprises are lying vacant.
Replying to the query, the ministry said the posts in central public sector enterprises are broadly classified as managerial, executive and non-executive, which also has subcategories of supervisory, skills and non-skilled. The details of the number of on-roll employees in the above categories of post in 249 operating CPSEs as on 31st March 2019 are given in the annexure. Details of the vacant post in CPSEs are not maintained centrally in Department of Public Enterprises, as CPSE are under administrative control of their respective administrative ministry and department. Steps to fill up vacant posts in CPSCs are taken by management of respective CPSCs. Recruitment to the post below the board level in the CPSCs is done by the management of respective CPSCs according to prevailing business conditions and requirement and other factors like future operations, expansion, investment plan, retirement and so on, and this is a continuous process. Well, moving on, next question was asked by member KG Alphonse, and he asked Ministry of Communications by when 5G technology is going to be rolled out in the country. Secondly, whether the country has physical and technical infrastructure to roll out 5G, and thirdly, whether the country is considering entry of Huawei with its 5G technology.
In the response, the government says that the standards for IMT 2020, which is International Mobile Telecommunications 2020, also known as 5G technologies in industry, are being finalized. An interministerial high-level forum for 5G India 2020 was constituted in September 2017 to articulate the vision for 5G in India and to recommend policy initiatives and action plans to realize this vision. The high-level forum submitted its report titled as Making India 5G Ready in August 2018. Based on the report, the government is creating an enabling framework for deployment of affordable and secure 5G services in India. A subcommittee on 5G and technology trials, having representatives from relevant departments, ministries, has been thereafter constituted under the chairmanship of Principal Scientific Advisor to give recommendations on various issues including security related to 5G and technology trials in India. Let's move on to the next question that has been asked by member Vijay Pal Singh Tomar, and this one pertains to the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. And the member has asked whether the government or any other agency has conducted any survey on the death of farmers due to ignorance about using dangerous chemicals and pesticides in farming, causing ill effect on human health, and if so, the details thereof.
Well, replying, the ministry said no survey has been conducted by Department of Agriculture, Cooperation Farmers Welfare, Indian Council of Agriculture Research and State Government of Andhra Pradesh, Goa, Haryana, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Punjab, Kerala, Gujarat, Meghalaya, Manipur, Uttar Pradesh, Telangana and Tamil Nadu have also reported that no such survey has been done. ICMR has reported that it has recently initiated a multi-centric study to assess exposure and health effects of pesticides. Pesticides are toxic substances, but they do not pose any adverse effect on human beings, animals and environment if they are used as per the label and leaflet approved by the registration committee. Pesticides are registered for the use in the country by registration committee only after satisfying about their efficacy and safety to human health, animal and environment. The misuse or abuse of pesticide may result in adverse effects on human health. However, with regard to the safety efficacy of registered pesticide, technical reviews are undertaken through committee of experts from time to time, and continued use of such registered pesticide is permitted only if it's found safe. Till now, 44 pesticides have been banned for import, manufacture and sale. 2 pesticides formulations have been restricted to be manufactured for export only. 8 pesticides have been withdrawn and are no longer in use in agriculture. 18 pesticides have been refused registration. 9 pesticides have been restricted for use, and 6 pesticides shall be phased out by December 31st, 2020. State government also imposed restrictions and ban on pesticides from time to time under provisions of Insecticides Act 1968. Well, moving on to last question of this edition of Question Hour that was asked by member Narayan Das Gupta from Ministry of Commerce and Industry. He asked whether it's a fact that United States of America withdrew special status of India under Generalized System of Preference, that is the GSP scheme.
The response given by the government is in affirmative, and the government goes on to say that the benefits under the GST scheme were withdrawn for India by the US with effect from 5th of June 2019. In 2018, India exported goods worth $6.3 billion as per the USTR figures to US under the GSP program, which was approximately 12.1% of India's total exports to the US. The average duty concessions occurring on the account of GSP were approximately $240 million in 2018, which was about 3.8% of India's exports to the US availing the GSP benefits. The impact varies across products depending on an individual product level concessions which were availed under the GSP. However, so far, the cumulative exports under the GSP tariff lines have not declined in the post-GSP withdrawal period, which was the June to October 2019 period as compared to the corresponding period last year. Trade-related issues are a part of ongoing economic partnership and will continue to be discussed and addressed as a part of the regular bilateral trade agreement between India and the United States. Well, that's all we had for you in this edition of Question Hour. On the other side, we'll have Prashn Kal in Hindi. Please don't go anywhere.